That's super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a story we should go into once we start rolling.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Because I'm gonna ask. Yeah, definitely. Because I play some of Nick's music in my classes, and I just listened to your album too, and like your title track too. But we'll talk about that. Like I'll play. Yeah, I feel
Like, whoa, why are you flowing all this content so early? Oh, maybe it wasn't too early.
I got it.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. Well, then I guess we'll do the introduction.
Yeah.
What's up, Wait, where am I looking at? This one? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Music Maniacs for Side After Dark. We're Side After Dark. And we're joined by two very special guests today.
Hey.
I feel it's funny having two people. It's like, should we go around the table and introduce ourselves?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll start off.
Go for it.
Eric, I go by Bendito.
And I'm Dank Delish.
And here we are.
Woohoo.
And we are brought together by a beautiful thing. And that thing is music.
Yeah. I was like coffee.
Coffee and water? Yeah. No, so yeah, we're playing a show together. March 14th. Going to be an amazing time. Dank Delish album release show. Our live album recording. So come through to the show. You will be immortalized. Your screams, whatever you want to say, will be in the live album forever. So don't talk too much shit.
We're talking a lot.
And then
Yeah.
And then afterwards, our boy Bendito is going to be killing it for the rest of the night, spinning all the dope tracks. We're going to be having a fucking party from start to finish. So I just wanted to say, get that out of the way because we're going to be talking about it more, but I just want to say I'm very excited about it.
Yeah,
and I hope
same.
you're all excited about it too. You're cordially invited. Consider this your invitation.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about right before this?
Playing these guys' music in my classes. I was just saying, like I was wanting to know if you had like something on Spotify that we can all listen to. Because I play one of the other DJs we've done a show with. I've played his music in my classes. People like the vibe. Your title track, I was listening to the album today. I love the title track the best. I can't pronounce it. What does it mean?
Metacognition. It's like a state of awareness, like understanding that you can be aware.
Okay. All right, I'm getting to the comprehension of that.
Well, I'm laughing
Do you
because I
understand
came in.
being
I came
aware?
in here with a question. I literally wrote it down in my phone. And I wanted to see where you would go with this. I feel like we kind of just did it because I looked up the definition of metacognition, and I was just curious what it actually says. And it says awareness and understanding of one's own thought processes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you how having that definition and that word when you were making your music, you were like, "This is what this is." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's like when I came out with the title track, I made that first like 2 years ago, I think, maybe more. And then that was kind of like the start. So it's to me like metacognition is kind of like the tip of the iceberg. So I put it as like the title track is the first track because then it's kind of like it sets you on the path for this like journey. And then as you go throughout it, it's like you kind of get these repeated themes.
Yeah.
And it's all just keeping like your focus like kind of right here the whole time.
Right.
That was the goal. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just cool hearing how like different people can like interpret things in their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because one person could hear one word and take it a completely different way. You know what I mean? So it's cool how being able to see that and then translate it into art as well. And then I feel like the art also goes along with that. Like I would definitely be playing in the background, like some music off the album, and hopefully it spurs people to go on and listen to it because it's fucking amazing. And it's like it really goes along with what you just said. Like I get that. I feel like a door is opening in a way when I'm listening to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a great. Yeah, I agree.
I really so we met through you, and as soon as you told me about him, I listened to his album and I was like, whoa, this is sick. I really like it.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And okay, so speaking of just music in general, because I want to go back to the basics. I wanted to ask both of you, and really all of us, like, what was the first thing that you can remember of you being like, music is something that I want to do? You know what I mean? Because everybody consumes music, even if you want to or not. It's around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But at some point, you make a decision like, no, I want to actually be involved with this. I want to do this. So I'm curious, like, do you have like a specific moment, or do you just like going back? You're like, it's always been music.
So for me, it was like I always had my headphones on.
Yeah.
There was never a moment where I didn't have my headphones on. But then I started going to music festivals, and I did over 10 years of going to music festivals and never DJing. And then SK Nick, he was like, yo, dude, we got to get you up there.
Hell yeah.
And he taught me, and it's like literally the day that I started, I fell in love with it. And I was at the studio practicing every weekend for like a year and a half. I spent so much money on that damn studio, but I fell in love with it right away.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like oftentimes the hardest part is just making that first step, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you build it up in your head so much, like, oh, look at these people, they're doing so well. I don't know, I could do that, blah, 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 blah. But everybody starts somewhere, you know?
Yep.
And then once you do it, it's like, there's no turning back. What about you? I'm curious.
Well, I lucked out because mine happened when I was really young. So I didn't have that perception of like taking a leap, I guess. So like subconsciously, apparently I came out of the womb snapping my fingers. So that was cool. But then like my dad's a musician. So I grew up like with music around. He used to play like jazz, reggae. So we would go to like different like nightclubs and he would play, and then he would let me like, you know, play a little like shaker or tambourine or something like that. He'd teach me how to count the music and everything. So
Nice.
it was around that time when I was like, oh, okay, I could like do this all the time. I got to experience like the entire experience of like, you know, getting $10 in tips, getting free meal, getting, well, I didn't get free drinks. I was 4, but you know, like,
I hope not.
and a couple sips. No. But yeah, the whole thing. So ever since then, I was just like, cool, I'm going to do this. It was just embedded in me, I think.
Yo, something you just said actually just blew my mind right now. Like thinking about like being like a 10-year-old, like getting someone give you like $10, or sorry, 4 years old, someone give you like $10.
That's a
like,
lot.
yeah, that not only is that a lot, but it's like, whoa, like I can like, people give me money for this. You know what I mean? Like from, especially like at such a young age, like I definitely see how just like one thing like that completely like put someone on a path. You know what I mean? Because then you get like that positive reinforcement of it as well. It's not like you're just doing it for you. It's like other people are like, oh, I like this. I wonder, do we have anyone else in this room whose father was a musician?
My dad was a musician.
Hey, right on.
Yeah. He used to bring me on stage and I used to like dance and stuff like that. But I started out as a dancer. I think my first class was a piano class and I didn't want to do it. I was just dancing around. They put me in dance. But when I figured out that I can do music, that was like my first year in college. Like towards the end of high school, I was like just writing poems and stuff. And then in college, at the Gap, where I started my first like real job, I met this girl and she was like into modeling and stuff. And she was like, yeah, but you know, when we're in Brooklyn, you know, we get on the stage in the reggae clubs and we'd be chatting on the mic. And I was like, people really do this. And I was like, and then once that sparks interest in you, you start to just become in circles that do music as well. All of a sudden, people that live in your neighborhood, oh, I do music too. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, I found my people, like, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much how it started.
Yeah. It's almost like finding like a, how do I want to say it? It's like a group you didn't even know that existed. That was like right under your nose the whole time.
Exactly, yeah, because we're
You're
all
like-
being professional at work and stuff like that. But, you know, people are like, yeah, you know, I jam at this club. And you're
Yeah.
like, holy shit, like, this is my squad, you know?
Do people ever, I'm curious if this ever happens to you guys. This has happened to me before. I've seen people like, people that I work with have seen me like perform and be like, bro, you're like a different person. Like, I didn't even recognize you. And I'm like, that's because if you're at work, you can't really like be your full self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm curious, like, has anyone ever like seen, like known you outside of music and then see you play music? You're like, bro, I didn't even know you could be like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, does that happen to you guys?
Absolutely. For me, it's like my singing. Like my singing voice versus my talking voice, I feel like are very different. So when people hear me sing, they're like, oh, I didn't even know you sound like that. Like, so.
True. That makes sense. What about you?
I'm not a person that dances. I don't dance. I don't have rhythm. But my dad has come to a couple of my sets and he's like, bro, I've never seen you move like that.
There you go.
Where has this been? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just up there. I lose control and
Bro, that's what it's all about. The losing control is it's ironic because I feel like when you're talking about music, the more you lose control, the more you're in control sometimes. Because if you're thinking about it too much, you're not in it.
No.
yep.
And you'll never be more in it by thinking about it more. You'll only fuck yourself up.
I feel like I fell right into it when you said that. That, right? Those kind of words just like pull you right down into it. But yeah, no, I mean, we always say that you're free with technique, right? Like the more knowledge you have about what you're into, the more you can just like let go, you know, just drags you in there and you're just there in the pocket of it.
Discipline will set you free.
I remember when I first started DJing and we would be at the studio, me and my wife, I would mess up and she would just be watching me and I'd be like, I'd have the angriest face She's like, stop it. Don't do that. And like that kind of cut it for me, because if not, like while I was up there, I would just be so like trying to make everything perfect instead of just having fun. And now that I got past that point, I'll mess up. Like every DJ messes up. But I just act like it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Afterwards, I'll complain to her. I'll be like, I fucked this up. I fucked that up. And she'll be like, we didn't even notice.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the universal things that unites musicians. Because it's like once you make the flip in your head of like, it's not about me, it's about the crowd.
Yep.
Then like everything else kind of makes sense. Because if you're standing like, fuck, then the people in the crowd are going to be like, what's wrong? Like, what's happening?
Yep.
You know, like this isn't how this is supposed to be. But if you just keep going and even make a joke about like, oh, did you guys hear that? That was crazy. That was the worst I ever played. Ha. And then you just keep going. Then it's like they feel like they're in the joke with you.
Yeah.
They're just like, and then it just makes you even more like connected to the audience, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
like that. I used to have a teacher who was like great jazz teacher, but every time I would see him perform, he would do that. Like he would play upright bass.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck. Like every time he'd mess up, which wasn't really messing up because it's jazz. Like every note counts, I think. So for him though, it was just like the end of the world. And then, but like it still sounded great. Like no one would have known had he not, made all the noises about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really the thing. You can't let them know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Gotta
sure.
play it
It's a
cool.
secret. Keep to yourself.
What's your, like, for you guys, what's your favorite part, or what's the main thing that you have to do when you get out in front of a crowd? Like, I'm for sure going to do blah, blah, blah. Main song, main style, whatever it is. What do you always do?
Honestly, I don't know if I have a thing.
Do you have a spiel?
So the whole thing is like, I try and keep my sets fresh as possible.
Uh-huh.
So I'm rarely repeating songs.
Okay.
So I'm just always trying to switch it up and stuff. And once I get up there, I just, I just get into it.
Okay. Maybe that's your thing. Like, always, like, never repeating the same.
Yeah, that's that. Like, I'll play the same song, but different remixes of it.
Okay.
But you won't catch me playing like the same song like 6 or 7 times. Okay. Maybe in a couple months you'll hear me play it again. But I sit on my phone all day with SoundCloud on and just skimming through music and saving music all day. So I'm like always trying to find the new thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Obsession is a gift.
Yeah.
I feel like, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It is.
Wait, so do you ever like when you're going to a show, do you have like a general idea? Like, okay, I'll probably start with this. Maybe I'll have these somewhere in the set, or you're like, I'm freeballing this whole thing. You know what I mean?
When I first started, I would prep my sets. Then I saw a video of Carl Cox saying when he's about to do a show, he'll make a folder, throw 100 songs in there. And if he can't DJ within those 100 songs, he shouldn't be DJing it. So I kind of like took that and I just ran with that. And then whoever plays before me, I want to have it transition best as possible. So I'll go based on like the vibe of before. And then if it's something different from what I'll usually play, I'll build it up to where I want it to be.
Right. That makes sense. So you pick it back off the vibes, keep everything like consistent.
Keep it flowing.
Yeah.
What about you, Dank? What do you do?
For me, I guess visually, like I have more visual cues, I think, than specific songs I like to play. Like I have like songs like hits or whatever that I think like people would enjoy because they've heard them a lot over time. But I'm currently in a state where I'm trying to be more open to stylistic change, like genre wise. Like this whole album is the first time I've had like one body of work that's like focused on one genre of music, but then I'm like trying to add in other ideas and like incorporate other styles of music that have inspired me. So that's like still like a new thing I'm experimenting with like on the stage. But I mean, I keep my goggles.
Yeah.
I have my earring,
The goggles are definitely a visual trademark.
I'm going to the copyright station tomorrow.
Right now. Put the little R on the side there, just engrave it. Then if anyone asks, like, no, this is registered trademark.
That's right.
Don't ask where it's registered, but
Little copyright on this side, little trademark on this side. My bases covered.
Dude, imagine if they had trademark people just walking the streets looking for people to do things like that. They'll stop you, like, excuse me,
what patent office did you file that with?
I wish I had that kind of time.
where are your papers?
Whoa. That's funny. What about you? Do you have any? I feel like we talked about this before, but like, because I feel like before shows we'll usually be off doing our thing, and then when the show happens, we're like, okay, here we are.
Yeah.
I know you you would do the thing with your tongue.
Yeah, I definitely, because the tongue is a muscle, and my last vocal coach taught me that you can just wrap paper towel around the sides of your tongue and like pull it out. Like it hurts because it's a muscle that you don't usually stretch, physically. But I'll do that. Yeah. And but just recently, once we did Any Day Now, I feel like on stage now I have to like represent the logo now. So it's like whether it's like black with neon, like you know what I mean? It's just like I just want to be like the logo, like embody.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the image as well. And that's my new thing since like last year.
I'm glad you said that because now I'm gonna think about that.
I walked through that
I'm just
door.
zoned out for a second.
Yeah, I walked through our logo's door. Like I finally went through it.
I wish I had a picture of it right now.
Yeah.
Hold up to the camera.
Oh no, wait. I was gonna say in the edit, but we're not at your place. It's not our podcast.
I mean, I'll still edit it later.
I have a sticker in my jacket. I could grab it.
I have stickers too. We'll do it at the end.
We got stickers
go.
too. No.
Everyone, if you want a sticker, then comment free sticker for me, please. I love you. Yay. LOL, JK, but not really. Seriously. Did you get that? You got all that? So we should talk about the venue because you haven't been there before.
No,
And
yeah.
I love plugging it because it's legitimately, I'm not just saying this because we're on camera and we're doing the show there. It's one of the coolest places that I've been to, I would say, in New York City. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's literally like, I walked in. I'll actually tell the story of how I first found this place because it's really funny. Like our friends used to live by there. So we used to walk by every day. I thought it was just a bar. Like from the outside, you wouldn't necessarily know everything that's going on the inside. Mm-hmm. So one day my friend was visiting. We were just walking around in the neighborhood. I'm like, oh, you want to stop in here for a drink? Yeah, cool. So I walk in and there's like a guy like at the front, like I guess more or less the bouncer or whatever. And right when I walk in, he's like, you play music? And I was like, yeah. He was like, we're having a jam session. I'm like, okay. He's like, what do you play? Like, guitar? He's like, here. And he just like hands me a guitar.
That's awesome.
Like, he's like, come with me. And like goes in the back, like the performance series, like, here's a guitar. There were already like people like playing. I'm just like, okay. And then just start playing. I'm like, I literally thought I was just going to have a drink. Like,
That's
this was not what I was
awesome.
expecting at all. But then ever since that, I'm like, yo, I got to come back here like every week at least and just meet people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone I meet there is just cool as hell. It's like recording studio, bar, venue, all at once. It's wild.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good introduction to it.
Oh, coffee shop too.
And coffee. Oh, yeah. And coffee shop. You can get coffee there during the day.
Oh, nice.
It's just a great place to see a show, to meet people, and to make things happen.
Yeah, it's a great corner bar too. It's like just off of a nexus of like three major streets. It's like Central Ave and Broadway.
Oh, okay, I know where it is.
Yeah.
So we've passed it at like 6 a.m. and there's like a flood of people outside.
Whoa.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I like walking in there because it's not necessarily, not necessarily. It's not an upstairs location. It's not a basement location. It's just right there on the ground floor. And something about when you walk past the bar into the main room to perform, it's like a bit of a step down, just a tiny bit of one. And that somehow, I don't know, makes me feel like grounded in there. I don't know why. It's just
that's
a perfect, and it just, I don't know, something about the energy of like a tiny step down into that music space kind of like pulls that first live. It's called like first live, that first live feeling like, oh, I stepped in here and I'm like live with a bunch of people that I don't know, but somehow we are all together doing something that's fun. Like, it's weird. Yeah. I don't know. It's one of the first places that I felt like that in, you know?
You know what's funny? I kind of felt like that the first time I came here. When we walked through the studio, we're like, whoa, it's like this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how I felt like at first live. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Specifically here,
Just
this
like
place
in
is really
general,
nice,
just
yes.
like what we were saying, just like,
But first live,
yeah.
yeah, it's a beautiful spot. They have so many things going on there. Like it's like multifaceted, and just that you can go in, maybe go for a drink with a friend, maybe just go for a cup of coffee, and then you end up like talking to all these different cool people. I used to go last year when they were doing the open mics.
Yeah.
That was such a cool time because then it was like it gave you kind of like for like what was it, like $5. You can go in and get the entire experience and just kind of see what it's like. They would like film your sets. They'd like email you about it and get like little footage to put like online. It was really nice. So very, very excited for the show.
I want to go on a little tangent because we're talking about open mics. I want to give like an ode to open mics right now, because especially here, like I had gone to like open mics before I moved here and stuff, and it was like whatever. But like here, it's so interesting anytime you go to an open mic, because you could see the greatest thing you've ever seen. And then right after, you could see one of the like cringiest things you've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like you'll see someone that's like, I can't even believe this person is so talented. That's so crazy. They're gonna do all these things one day, and then somebody comes in that clearly did not practice at all, and their guitar's out of tune, and they don't even know what's out of tune. You know what I mean? And you have to start somewhere. I'm not talking shit or anything, but it's just seeing all the people from all over and all the different levels of talent that exist within. New York City is only like what? How many square miles? Like
Exactly.
It's not physically really that big of a place. Like we were talking before this, like you're from Phoenix, Wolf is from Texas, I'm from Florida. It's like there's so much more space in all those places. Like going from like the cities to the suburb, it's like twice as much actual space as the whole of New York City. So the concentration of like any kind of thing, like an open mic or like open decks, it's like just being able to see all the different kinds of people all doing the same thing, all that they love. It's just like a beautiful thing. Yeah. So I just want to shout out open mics because you had brought that up.
Much love open mics. Much love Star Bar. My favorite open mic.
Yeah.
Shout out to Star Bar.
That's
Shout out
another
Star Bar.
space too that has, I don't know, it's like its location and its vibe is just like, yeah, that one's very inclusive. You don't feel like a stranger when you step in Star Bar.
That was actually where we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you guys had a feature, or you guys performed like a month or so before that.
Yes.
Yeah, something
Part
like
of
that.
Art versus
something like
Life.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Art versus Life.
Hell yeah, for real.
It means so many like interesting people. And it's so weird. We were thinking of starting one of our videos like that, like an open mic, you know, just a whole bunch of a different array of different performers and stuff. And we said it already, so nobody copy it. I'm just kidding.
Trademarked.
I got a guy.
Where are your
Just like
papers?
that.
I got you. Whoa. Have you all ever done like a open mic where it's like half comedy, half music?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Split? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are my favorites because it's like after we play, then we get to just enjoy the comedy and the music.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the music in again?
Music in is great. It's in the new Bob Dylan movie. But
It is?
Yeah. They're Jeff is an older guy who owns the location, and he's been there since the 60s. So everybody has pretty much walked into everybody classic rock has walked into the music in. They do feature it in the new Bob Dylan movie. It doesn't look exactly the same. They kind of give it a more 6th Avenue feel as opposed to a West 4th just off of 6th Avenue feel. Like it makes it look bigger than it actually was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's supposed to be in the movie. Yeah, that's one of those great spots. You can get into a nice New York spot where things are sarcastic enough to get some really good jokesters give you some comedy.
100%. And shout out to the Music Inn on West 4th Street. Y'all should definitely go there if you've never been there before. It's like, I think it's the oldest independent music store continually run in New York City.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. And like you're saying, Jeff is like, he's an OG now, but
Yeah.
he's been there forever. And it's been like the same ownership for so long. And it's like, there's just a certain, it's kind of like a place like First Line. It's kind of like a hub of like whoever is around.
Yeah.
I remember we started going there, like this was like before COVID. We would go like to the open mic like every Thursday.
Yeah.
And we would just meet all the people, we'd meet a bunch of musicians, meet a bunch of comedians. And by the time like COVID happened, we would like go there just for somebody's show, and then we end up in like the back hallway where the employees are, like smoking a blunt.
Yeah.
It's like, we're just like, how did this happen? Like,
Yeah.
No, shout out to the Music Inn. I love that place.
Okay.
Yeah. It would go on for so long. Like I would arrive after work, like 9 o'clock. You would have been there like probably an hour and a half already. And we would be there till like 11 o'clock, maybe 12, maybe even 1. Sometimes
There
going
was
on
times
at like
it wasn't done
11:30.
till 2 in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those spots. It's like down in the basement. Like the pillars are still in the basement. You have to like walk around them to sit down and stuff. And Jeff's got this total vibe like Tommy Chong, right? Like he's like older Tommy Chong with a ponytail, right? Sometimes still wears tie-dye.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just really cool.
One time he showed me he made comic books based on the Old Testament
Whoa.
that he had like drew. It was crazy. I don't know how he just like, let me show you something. And he just like showed me like the whole thing.
That's
wow. I totally
awesome.
forgot about that. That memory just came back to my head.
Yeah,
Did he,
that sounds
read
like
it
a
to you,
great
like panel
acid
by
trip.
panel?
Not panel by panel. I don't think we had the time for that, but he was like, okay, yeah, so this is the story of this and this. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. And it looked pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Cool.
Damn. I wish I could remember what like, I think it was like a series and there was a title for it, but I can't remember now.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
I remember one time he was telling me, "Oh, this is all these old stories are coming back. It's right on West 4th Street by the West 4th Street courts." And I remember one time, like, we went there and I had like a Biggie shirt on, and he was just like, "I met that guy." I'm like, "Huh?" He was like, "Yeah, they were taking photos at the basketball court over here."
That's awesome.
I'm just like, "Oh, okay." But he just like threw it around. Like, I feel like he knew what he was doing. He was like, "Ah, that guy in the shirt. I met him once." He made it seem like it was no big deal, but I think he knew that it was a big deal to us.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm wearing the fucking shirt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jeff is a living legend, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like pre-show rituals? Besides, what are you going to do in your show? Do you like one of mine is I don't buy anything new that day. I don't care if my shirt ripped or whatever. I'm not buying anything new that day. For me, it's quote unquote bad luck to do that.
Pre-show.
Like how far in advance pre-show? Like that day?
That day, yeah. Like I won't smoke that day. I won't buy anything new that day. That's for the show. Like if I'm like, oh, I don't have enough hairpins. Let me go out and get them. I won't do that. Like no. Like, yeah.
For me, I don't drink.
Okay.
I'll drink after. Typically.
Yeah,
Same.
I usually like to wait to drink afterwards. There has been a couple times I've drank, and it's been a little bit of a shit show. So I've learned my lesson, and now I try and I'll have like one seltzer when I get there, just to like calm the nerve.
Yeah.
But I wait until after to like really have my drink.
For sure.
I feel like the key is being able to, because first of all, I feel like you're always going to be a little anxious
Yeah.
before you go on. Like, I feel like no matter how many times you play, there's still that thing. It's like, oh, I'm about to go up in front of people. Like, you know what I mean? You kind of feel it in your chest. I feel like the key is to take that anxiety and to just translate it into what you're doing. And then once you're done, get as fucked up as you want. It's like you did the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your time is over. You put all your into it, and then now you just chill. I don't know. Being able to channel it is kind of hard
It is.
because then sometimes you get in your head about it. You know?
Yep. That's my biggest thing. I get in my head all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes for the most part, like I can't quote unquote, kind of. I can't really wait until we get bigger where it's like you get to venues and you have a space away from people because I sing. So it's like I always get nervous, that anxiety, like what if I talk too much and lose my singing voice? Like what but then I have to get there and I have to get there a certain time before I perform, and then I have to talk to people and say hello and all this stuff like that. And I was like, damn, I have to talk. I'm so pissed that I have to talk. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, because you can't just stand there in the corner and not say
You
anything.
just bring a sign, not speaking until after show.
Exactly. Right? Make a new t-shirt and trademark it and have papers.
Wow, that's
There we go.
3 trademarks in one podcast. We're making records, guys.
Exactly.
But no, that's really funny. I didn't even think about that from like a singing perspective. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't really sing that much.
Because like then it's like I get there and I'm just like, well, I don't want to look like a bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like in the corner and people are like, hi. And I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Do I know you?
I'm gonna start doing that now.
I'm not being mean on purpose, I swear.
I
It's for
promise.
the show.
I'll hand out little cards.
For the show.
Preserving my voice.
exactly. That's
Take
a
a card.
good one.
Preserving my voice.
Just once you go up, just go into the mic and be like, hey guys, I didn't say hi to you because preserving the voice.
Hey, yeah, that's a good one too.
Or if you
Start
talk
off.
too much, be like, guys, I can't sing now because I spent too much time talking to you fuckers. And have a good night.
Right, we do like
That was the show.
Well, thanks to you guys here at the blah blah blah. I'm going
Going
home.
home. Ah, that's so funny. You guys ever seen what we're talking about there with Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses?
Did he do that?
There was this concert where I guess somebody was filming. This is like back in the day when you had like a camcorder, like before cell phones or whatever. Somebody was filming and the security wasn't doing anything. And he's just like, all right, thanks to this lame ass security, I'm going home. Fucking throws the mic. But then there was literally a riot. Like there's literally like a lot of shit burned down after that.
Yeah.
There's just like 30,000 people like pissed off all in one area now because this one guy's like, I'm not doing the show anymore.
Yeah, I think
Like it's actually wild.
Yeah, it's like historical music moment. Like Slash said he saw his amp, like Duff's amp, miles down the road, just on the street somewhere. Like it was a big riot.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, Axl Rose is funny. We make a lot of inside jokes about that guy. He's really crazy, but he's done a lot of funny shit.
Yeah.
That ends up being like inside jokes. We've done whole introductions to songs in our shows that we literally just copied from something that he said once because we think it's hilarious and nobody else knows what we're doing.
That's what it's about, though.
Yeah.
You know?
The people that get it, and then
Yeah,
it'll be like even better for them because they're like, oh, I see what you did.
exactly. And even if you don't, it's like, we're still having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. Hopefully, you're having a good time. What was it? It was like, what was the thing that we did? It was like,
Whoever does anybody tell you how to drink, how to think, how to act, right?
oh yeah.
'Cause
Who
we
likes
don't
to
need
get
that
told how to dress?
Yeah.
Who likes to get told what to do with their life? Blah blah blah. And the crowd's like, boo boo. It's just like, I don't know. It's just really fun
Because we don't need that shit
in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always said a lot of crazy stuff.
Are y'all gonna do that at the show?
I don't know.
Not anymore.
Do you guys? Okay, this is a question where you really have to think because I can't even think of the answer for mine. Do you have any favorite live albums? And it could be any genre, right? I can't even think of one.
Allman Brothers
That's a good live album.
live at what is it? Fillmore East, I think.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I don't know. I feel like live albums aren't as much of a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or live
You know what I mean?
performances. Like one of my favorite old school live performances is Diana Ross at Central Park. It was a huge performance, and then it started to rain, and that made the show better. Like, and she's like a total diva, and she's like being cascaded by the rain, and people are all hyped because it's like, her solo career started like disco-ish and stuff like that, and it pretty much spearheaded kind of like an LGBT movement, so the gays really support, so there was crowds of people there. So that's one of my favorite live performances. I like a lot of live Bob Marley. Yeah, Manford Band, I like them live. I think I pulled that out the hat one time. But yeah, it could be any genre of music.
I think for me, like one that I've watched a lot was maybe like Michael Jackson's Dangerous tour. I've seen that one a lot. I've seen the Bad tour a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like growing up. But other than that, like, I mean, there's a lot of like you were saying, like just there's not much live album making anymore until March 14th. That happens, like I feel like it was a lot of like the Grateful Dead,
Yeah.
like a lot of that kind of stuff that was like paving the way. Like my stepdad showed me a lot of I think they're called like string cheese orchestra or something like that.
I've heard of
It's
that.
like bluegrass. It's really not for me.
SCI,
No,
Yeah.
nothing against string cheese copyright.
But I'm lactose
That sounds
intolerant.
so
yeah, I'm a little bit lactose for that one.
I've been listening to this band called OMA, OMA. They have all their music on Bandcamp, and it's just them doing live jams of hip hop songs. And I catch myself going back to that a lot, especially at work. Like if I'm really busy and I can't focus on what I'm trying to save for myself, I'll throw that on, and it's just them jamming to it. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You said OMA?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay,
cool.
I'll have to check that out later.
Have you heard of I think it's the Abstract Orchestra? They do like Doom covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really good.
They're sick, yeah.
Wait, they do what covers?
Dune?
Like live covers of MF Doom. But
Like
the instrumentals.
I thought you said Dune.
Me too.
Oh, yeah, with the
Either way,
sandworm.
whichever.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
like, how they do covers of that? Okay, yeah, that's cool.
There's probably an audience for that.
Yeah, right of the soundtrack.
Bro,
Yeah,
I've
there you go.
read like all those books. They're
Yeah.
crazy. They're the most insane thing I don't even want to get into it right now. I'm gonna lose people.
they'll probably do it at Radio
New
City in
podcast.
like 10 years or something like that.
All I'm saying is some of these books you're not gonna understand them unless you've done lots of psychedelic drugs. That's all, that's all I'm gonna say. Some of it I'll read a page and be like, what is he trying to say right now? Let me read this 3 more times. Anyway, that's sick though. So like it's like so they're just doing all live instruments, but they'll just be like, okay, this time we're doing this song. We're doing
Yeah,
Nas.
so-
We're doing
They do a lot of the same songs. Their New York State of Mind is
Okay.
probably my favorite, the Nas song.
yeah.
They cover that one. They have a dope one of Cream, Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just keep coming out with different covers, and it's pretty awesome.
So speaking of other artists, so I always like to ask people this because I'm curious. What is, not counting like festivals, like if we're just like a single show with like a single artist, what do you think is your favorite show that you've been to? Like if you had to pick one, I know that's usually going to be a hard thing to answer because we obviously all love music. We've seen a lot of shows, but like what was the first thing that came to your mind when I asked that?
I would say my first concert, Jay-Z, when he did the Black Album tour.
Nice.
that's like probably one of the things I remember the most.
Where was it?
Madison Square Garden.
I've heard of it.
Yep. It was sick.
Little known spot, you know, a little local spot.
Yeah.
MSG.
That's right over here, right? Yeah.
It's right around the block.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think I saw, this is also when I was like 4, I saw like a Bob Marley cover band with my mom, and it was like, it was great because like we used to go to those kinds of concerts like all the time, and I think it was like my first time ever getting like secondhand high, because I just remember like seeing somebody with ice cream, and I'm just like, wow, that
looks so
sounds so good right now. My mom's like looking at me like, all right.
This is like way back in the day. I was like 4 too, but it's very vivid. I saw a Harry Belafonte with my mom, and that was like crazy for me because that's like a real connection to the past. That's like old Hollywood. Like that was like, I was like, this is the whole time in my head. I was like, this is impossible. Like this is, and then we actually got to talk to him and like touch his hand and say hello and stuff. And I was like, this is impossible, like unreal. But yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Where was that?
That was in DC.
Oh, okay.
It was like some marathon down there at the time. My dad had lived down there, so we went to visit my dad, and then we went out and we went to like a small concert that was the radio station was involved. Like my dad had worked at the radio station, and we went, it's like I can barely remember, but we went to the show that was promoted by the radio station. And and I was just like, what? It's like Harry Belafonte. It's like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about like music from the past and how it really isn't that long ago. Because music has only been able to be recorded for like 120 years or so. That's only really like 3-4 generations. You know what I mean? Like if you were to go 5 generations back, they don't. What is a record?
Yeah.
Like if you want to hear music, you got to go somewhere, or a band is going to come to you. There's no such thing as a recording.
Yeah.
Like that's that's crazy magic type shit.
Yeah.
People just
You know what
sitting
I mean?
at home with like sheet music, like, oh yeah,
That's
like,
a
really
banger.
feeling it.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Did you see this new one that Beethoven just dropped?
Yo, this crescendo right here.
Oh, fuck me up.
What about you? Who'd you see?
Tame Impala. I would say Tame Impala number 1. It's like every genre of music that I love in like one artist. Like it's kind of dancey, it's kind of funky, it's like trippy, it's like rock, it's like I was like at MSG. I remember it was right before COVID, and I was just like, yeah, this is like everything that a concert should be. And the light show was like as good as any like rave or anything I've ever been to. Like everything was on point. Second is probably we just saw David
I was about
Gilmour.
to say, was it better than David Gilmour? We went to see David Gilmour, yes.
Yeah, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd. And
nice.
that was only like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But that was insane. That was probably the craziest light show I've seen now. Like the whole thing was synced up. It's like literally just like throughout one guitar solo, the lights would get more and more intense with like every bar of music. Like it was synced up to like every single beat almost.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It blew my mind that somebody's whole job was to just sit there for every single piece of the set list. It was like, so the lights are gonna go this way, then they're gonna turn purple, then they're gonna go this way. It's like every single thing you could tell. Somebody planned it out meticulously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Nah, it's crazy.
That was another big moment too, because he's like another person who's like a connection to the past. It's like when you think about it, it's like this guy was born around World War II. He lived through Vietnam and segregation and civil rights. Even though he's British, like, you know, it's still a first world country. So like pretty much what we experienced, they experienced too on a different level. But yeah, that's somebody that went through like all of those things, you know, and he's still here. Like, even though they tried to make things seem like they were very, very long ago by showing black and white pictures, you know, they don't color the pictures, but it's like these people are literally still here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if he needed to like run down the block, he could run. Like that's how vital he probably still is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're just like, whoa, concert moments. Hopefully our live show will be that effective. Some person will
run
be
down
like,
the block after.
I saw Sight After Dark and Dank Delish and Bendito at a live show one time. You're right.
I don't believe you.
All we have to do is just put it in black and white, and then people they'll think we're time travelers.
There you go.
You know?
Yo, it's funny you were saying that because I was thinking about that when you said it. Like, they do really do that, right? They'll literally be like, oh, check out this classic picture of Mobb Deep from 1990. And it's like in black and white. And it's like, you had color. You 100% had color pictures then. You're just doing that to give it that vibe. That is the thing. I have noticed that. I was thinking about that the other day. Well, shout out to cameras. All the
Shout out
cameras. They're pretty cool. Cameras came before recording, right? Before audio recording?
Stills? Yeah, I mean, they had to. Well, I don't know for sure.
Like video?
No, like a picture.
Oh.
A photograph.
A photograph, yeah. A photograph or a phonograph?
I think
Which
the
was
photograph
first?
had to come before.
I think it was a
yes,
photograph.
because they photographed cowboys. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And there was no
yeah.
recording with cowboys yet.
Yep.
At least they say. No, I'm just kidding.
That's kind of crazy, though. Like, people were able to figure out how to take an actual still of life. Like, think about trying to describe a camera to somebody before a camera exists.
Yeah.
Like, you know this thing that's happening in right now? What if we just grab this out of the air and then we could just hold this forever?
That had to have happened in a cave, right? With like fire, right? Because don't caves do that? It's like I don't know, like wind or a flash of fire can throw your shadow on a wall and keep your shadow on a wall. So somebody had to think like, okay, light, image, projection. Let's figure out how to do that. It had to have happened like that.
I guess.
It had to. No, I'm just kidding.
I hereby decree.
Copyright.
No, but it's wild that happened before you could even like listen to a song in your home. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that.
Yep.
That's what I never thought about that before.
So interesting. Yeah. I always bug out because I like old cowboy things. You know, I'll watch like Tombstone. That's one of my favorite movies. And I'm like, man, Wyatt Earp was here. Like, he was here. And they have a picture of him and his grave is like here. Like, it's just crazy to me. So yeah, all
Yeah.
those old things.
I'm just going down like a trippy rabbit hole right now.
Right. I know, right? I'm almost thinking like, what live cowboy shows do you like? No, I'm just
And I only did 5 grams of LSD before this podcast, guys.
You got any left?
Imagine. We'll talk later. We'll talk. I mean, no drugs were consumed during the making of this podcast.
Remember, we were practicing this Sunday, and I made a joke because we have a song called Eastside Edibles that you may or may not have heard, and it's about eating edibles. And we're like, there's a pause in the song, and I'm like, everybody, it's like, have you had one yet? Did it drop? All right, well, now I want you to go outside, get in a car, get behind the wheel.
Yeah. My girlfriend actually caught one of those edibles you guys threw at the show at the Bowery.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How were they? Because I didn't try them.
We can't remember,
before.
so
Okay,
it
so
must
that's
have worked.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potent.
Shout out, because I went to a dispenser I hadn't been to or whatever shop for the first time to get those, and I was like, you know how some places are better than others. So I was like, I hope these ones are really good because the place looked really nice, but also that's kind of deceiving sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the places that look the nice are the shittiest, and the places that look terrible have the best stuff.
So true.
They dress up the packaging a certain way. They make it fun. And the next thing you know, you're like, like half naked on the sidewalk or something. You guys ever have weed like that? No? Okay.
Dude, edibles, they make them too strong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
certain
for
ones,
sure.
especially, oh my gosh, when we had the weed explosion here in New York and people were just having gummies for like really cheap. They used to have those like weed fairs where you go upstairs into some building on like in 45th Street and there's like just a whole bunch of weed vendors there. The edibles were crazy. Like, so I used to eat some just like a couple before a reaction video and be like, what the fuck did I do? Like, can I even hear this song right now? Like, there were moments.
What is
Yeah.
music?
Exactly. Like,
What is a song?
trying to find a word for a thought here. Can't.
What are words? Words are just ways that we try to express what's happening in our brains so that other people can understand it. You know what I mean? Like, who was the first person that thought of a language? Like, think about it. Like, you're in a cave or whatever. You're having all these ideas like, oh, like we shouldn't put the door over there because the fucking lions could come in easier.
Yeah.
But you don't have a language. So how do you explain that?
I think so.
You know what I mean? Like,
I heard we were born with speech.
goo goo gaga.
We were made with speech. Like us, the humans.
As opposed to
The
everyone
animals.
else.
Yeah, the animals. Where it's like, the animals come out and they're just like, they bark. They're not going to make a language. Like, like the dogs will just bark. They sound the same way in China that they do over here, even though I make jokes about that.
But
Did they have an accent?
do the animals have a language to the other animals. Like, not that we can understand. Like a bird, I feel like a bird has a language, right? Like a bird talking to another bird, and they're like, oh, yeah, this way.
Like they have
sure.
mating.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bees dance.
I think so. And I've just been looking at a lot of animals on like screen and stuff, and they talk to each other because you'll see like a duck living with a cat and all these things. Like they do have a language, you know, not a vocal verbal one, of course. You know, but yeah, we're the ones with this goes there. Like we were born kind of knowing that we have to put together certain sounds to communicate with each other. Like we can do that as opposed to doing it the animal way where it's just like, you know, you can look in somebody's eyes and kind of have a conversation, especially if you know them well enough or if you're in tune with yourself enough. And then there's always like across the globe, there's certain physical things that make you know how people are feeling. You know, if I go like this and stuff like that, like, you know, I'm happy and I'm laughing. You know, if I'm like this, like, you know, we all know that across the globe. You know, you
that's true. I mean, a smile or a frown is universal.
You know, if I go like this, you know, I'm like scared or like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Relax.
You know, so
it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I think I heard also that the animals are born knowing that we help. Like we made a lot of this and we help them and stuff. Like they know it.
How would somebody know that though?
I don't know. One of my friends, I tell this story. One of my friends in the wintertime, he was living what's that area? It's on the west side of Manhattan, but it's further Inwood. There you go. He's living up in Inwood and had a nice house. So there are more forest animals up there when you get further into the burbs. And a raccoon, it was like one of the snowstorm days. It was more like a slushy, sleety day. And a raccoon was like freezing. So he's like digging out his driveway and stuff like that. And a raccoon walks up to him and was like,
oh,
and he was like, yeah. And he was like, he just didn't know what to do. So he
that
just
meant
started.
He was hot? He was too hot?
Exactly, right? He started like digging dirt in his, on his lawn. And he had a little piece of panel of wood and he went like this to the raccoon and it went there and it went under and it just was like giving him a nod. Like, thanks, man. Like, I needed that. It's crazy.
Wow. Maybe a little thumbs up.
Yeah, you know. Good job.
Wow.
And then that makes me think also, I'm like, so how did so definitely we talked about this before. The first instrument was definitely a drum.
Of course.
It had to be a drum. You just, let's make a beat. You know what I mean? But who was the first people to be like, okay, so you do that, then you come over here. You see this thing? If you put the strings at different places, it makes different noises. Now we have to sync all of it up together.
Yeah.
Like imagine trying to explain that to somebody that's never heard of music before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of it is that it's all a feeling. It's all like a very emotional thing.
Yeah.
And music originates, I think, through storytelling. So you have a drum, and then you get maybe like a drum circle, multiple people playing different shaped handmade drums.
Right.
Being able to communicate that way. Maybe somebody's dancing around that to tell a story. And then I believe there was like flutes. I heard that every culture has like a history of some sort of flute or like woodwind thing. You know, you cut a couple holes in like a branch. I don't know how flutes work, but something like that, you know, and then there's all like different iterations through that. And then I think after that, somebody invented Pro Tools.
Yeah. And that was in 1899.
Yeah.
That's so
Facts,
weird.
science.
By the dinosaurs.
You heard it here first. Yeah, the dinosaurs invented Pro Tools.
Copywritten.
And it was only like 100 years ago. That's what you heard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all watching the same station. That's crazy.
Exactly. Just had to have black and white pictures.
Now I'm just imagining dinosaurs with headphones on, just like, hell yeah.
No, this snare is not it.
New Jesus
This
track?
snare sounds bad. I don't know, man. What do you think?
No.
Then the T-Rex is trying to reach but has no like little arms.
And they all get eaten.
Yeah.
That's the whole story.
That's the music industry, baby.
Wow, it's all a metaphor for the industry.
Full circle.
Wow.
Metacognition.
You guys thought we were talking about dinosaurs this whole time? Y'all are fucking dumb. That was deep, okay?
Trademarked.
Trademark.
Yeah.
What was that for? Did we
That's
get
like,
that's
we're
what
at
it
like
is
8
for.
now.
did we get trademark counter in the bottom right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you gotta keep a counter on this one. I lost track.
Oh man.
I don't know, but the strings definitely came from the heavens. I don't know how those came on Earth. Like with the woodwinds, I could see that being like watching a bird, because birds like drums. I know from having I had like 8 birds, and once you like start to hit something, they're like tweety, they right away. So I could see someone making a flute just by looking at a bird. Even poking the holes in them and saying like, because the birds will go like doo doo doo, and you'll actually see their tongues like moving certain ways. So I could see one fashioning, but the strings, I don't know. I just feel like those came from the heavens. They're like, here, children, here, play this one.
That is wild to think of, like the first person to think of a stringed instrument.
Yeah.
Because like scientifically you could break like, oh yeah, like when it's the vibration is like this, it raises the pitch and blah, blah, blah. But no one's thinking about that. Just like, okay, this sounds different than this. What if I could figure out a way so that I make it the same every time? And then it'll be consistent, and then we can build off of it. I don't know. When you think about just like all of the history and evolution that goes into us being able to do this, playing music together, recording audio and video in a studio, it's like absolutely mind-blowing.
It is.
Like there's so many possible ways that it could have gone for none of this to ever happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy.
And that's why I took 6 grams of LSD before this podcast. What's your favorite festival you've been to?
Favorite festival, probably Friendship.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it.
That's a whole different thing, because every other festival I've gone to, I'm either camping or I'm at an Airbnb. I want a ship.
Whoa.
I have unlimited food. 4:00 in the morning, I'm walking up to the bar getting pizzas and stuff.
Yeah.
I get to shower as much as I want. Not like out at a camping festival where you have to wait online and
Right.
showers close at a certain time. And just the vibe, to be honest, like of everyone there, everyone's there just having the time of their lives. And I think that was like probably the one festival that I went to where it wasn't like clicky. Because, you go to a festival and it's like one stage is dubstep, one stage is house, one stage is techno. No, like every corner you turn, there's something else. And everyone's just everywhere. So I think that was the coolest one I've been to for sure.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot about it. We have a lot of mutual friends that have been.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a rave cruise, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's sick.
And then you have one day, well, when I went, it was one day in Belize, and we had Skrillex on the beach.
Wow.
So it was like, there's a pool party during the day. We're all just drinking at the pool, having fun.
Yeah.
Went back to the boat, showered, got dressed, came back, ate, came back out, and then we got to see Skrillex in the middle of a beach. And it was sick.
That is.
In Belize.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Damn, imagine being him. Hey, yo, you want to play this gig on the beach in Belize? Yeah.
So
No, he'd probably be like, again? Okay.
True.
Sure.
Okay, the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
with him, it was funny because he wasn't supposed to be on the ship. He was going straight to Belize. He was going to play, and then that was it. But then he ended up jumping on the boat for the rest of the way. The next 2 days, it's like 5 days straight too.
That's funny.
Whoa.
So then he comes back on the boat, and he was literally playing everywhere. We would just hear like, Skrillex is in room 204 doing a secret set. We went down to the room, and like we had just missed them, but the room was packed out with people in like a line down the hall in some random little room.
And he just brings all his equipment and he just sets it up in the room and just...
So they have this thing called Dial a DJ.
Okay.
And you have to find like a little token or a little piece of paper or whatever, and it'll give you the phone number. So then you call this number and you say, hey, I'm room whatever. I found Dial a DJ, send somebody over. One of our friends found it the year that I went. And within like 20 minutes, you have a DJ in your room and random people are walking into your room. And it's just a party in your room.
So it's like a scavenger hunt almost.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
So you could be walking down the hall and all of a sudden you see a door open to a bedroom and it's just some random DJ just playing.
That's insane.
Wow.
I like that.
It was awesome.
I've never been on a cruise in my life. Well, I mean, other than, like the Circle Line or something like right around Manhattan to Staten Island or whatever. But I've never been on like a real cruise country to country. Try it out.
It's a good time.
Yeah, especially if a festival is attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I want to go on those old rock cruises.
The yacht rock cruises.
Yeah, it's the classic rockers from like that age. Because sometimes when you go where all the old people are, you can really chill because they're not going to buy, right? They're like off, right? You know, you're just like, oh, man, I can have like a real good time. Like I don't have to worry about, wow. And you're just like, what was that? Oh, it's just people. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe one of these days go on a nice cruise. Billy Joel and ABBA and Toto.
What a lineup.
That'd be a good cruise, yeah.
What would be your ideal cruise festival lineup? Not of any specific genre. If you could pick like 3 people to just play a festival for you. Anyone can answer this first. I see a lot of light bulbs going on in people's heads.
Whoa.
So I would make it like, I would put Chase and Status for some drum and bass. I'd put Tape B for some dubstep and Sarah Landry for some techno. If those could be my 3 headliners, that would be.
And you're having a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. I'm kind of stumped myself on my own question. I didn't even have an answer for it. I'll throw out Tame Impala again because I love them. Did I say people that are still around now?
You didn't say Alive
You
and
did.
Dead.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't specify?
No.
Oh, okay. The Tame Impala, Bob Marley. That would be
Ooh,
crazy.
that's pretty good.
I don't know, Floyd.
yeah, that'd be a good one. I mean, she would never ever do this, but a Bjork cruise, a festival. Her and like, there's this artist called Woodkid. At one point, he had like a really big moment. He had that Run Boy Run song. I don't know if you guys know that.
How's it go?
Run, boy, run. They're trying to catch you. Run, boy.
That sounds really familiar.
It does sound familiar.
Especially that part.
Yeah, the whole album
My
and
favorite
stuff like
part.
that. That was absolutely great. I mean, if Zeppelin were still in their heyday,
Zeppelin.
but I need to get out. Like I could not be trapped on this boat for like a week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you know the kind of, I mean, wildness that it would attract, right? So
Yeah, that's true.
I would need to get out for a while, but I would definitely want to see GNR. I would definitely want to see Guns N' Roses on a cruise. Hell yeah, I would. Them, Woodkid, and we would mellow it out with like the Isley Brothers.
Oh,
Chilling
that'd be
the whole-
great,
That's
yeah.
a good choice.
I'm still feeling like the oldies vibes. I think Earth, Wind, and Fire, Stevie. And then I don't know who I would pick for a third. If I could open for them,
I pick
Like
myself.
me.
Hell yeah.
That's
I like
the
that.
best
That's a
answer.
good
Pick
answer.
myself,
Yeah.
that's it. Trademarked. Can you add like a sound effect of like a stamp every time?
Awesome.
Whatever a trademark sounds like, we'll find that. What does a trademark sound like, guys?
Picture a stamp like a.
Click, click.
Like a wax seal.
All right. Oh yeah. Either kind of like the Lord of the Rings ish, where they pour the wax and then they put the
stamp
thing and
it.
it's like
Yeah.
Oh,
either
like
that
sears
or a
it.
modern or ancient. We don't know.
Maybe both at the same time. Create our own.
And that's trademarked.
There we go.
Now I just lost track. I'm going to say we had 1,000 trademarks on this podcast. So, are you guys doing anything like new for this show? Is there any like teasers that you want to leave for people before we head out? Because I'm just curious. Like, I know we're playing some songs, even though it's a live album. We're playing some songs that haven't been recorded yet. So that'll be like a cool little like sneak peek, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if y'all had like anything like crazy that you wanted to give a sneak peek of the people, little teaser. You know what I mean?
Well, I can't say. I don't want to say the set,
That's how you know it's good.
but it is going to be a lot of the album. So,
Nice.
but yeah, I will say I'm going to have like my whole band there. So it's going to be like 30 of us, 10 of us, who knows?
Oh.
But it'll be a good time.
Hell yeah.
A really, really good time.
So I haven't gotten around to making music yet, but hopefully this year I really get on that, and then I can start giving you guys new music. But until then, I'll be playing other people's music.
It will be keeping the vibe going all night. Yo, it's crazy. Last time we did it, we played and then SK went on after us. And we basically were like, yeah, let's just like keep going until they tell us we can't do this anymore. Because
the way to
everyone
do
was
it,
hanging out. Like we were having a great time. People were drinking at the bar. And it definitely went way past the allotted time. But it got to the point where it's like, I feel like the venue was like, do you guys want to leave? No. all right, we're just gonna stay here for a while. We're just gonna keep it going.
Oh, I love that.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I feel like I don't know if they would really want me to say this, but I feel like we're gonna go until they shut us down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in a good way.
4 a.m.
Yeah. So I just want to say that because it's like the way that it went down last time was so fun that I can't wait to like do it again with new people and just have new energy in it. And just, I could say confidently that anybody that shows up for this show is going to have a great time from top to bottom. And that's really the main point here.
I concur.
Times
For
3.
sure. Times 4.
Wow.
Squared.
Trademarked.
Imagine you guys were just like, I don't agree at all. I think it's going to be a terrible time. Oh, man. But I think that's about our time. So I want to thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
it was a great time. I can't wait for the show. It's by the time this comes out, it'll probably be a little less than a month. We didn't even mention. So the venue is a crazy live streaming setup as well. Like 6 cameras, like like high def audio and video. So if you can't make it to New York City, you can get a pass to be there for the entire show as it's happening. So definitely look into that. You don't have to be upset if you can't make it to New York on March 14th. We're here for you. And I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're out.
Right on.